Hello and welcome. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. Today we're going to talk about cryptocurrency news. Is Binance giving Wall Street, the BAKKT exchange, a migraine headache? So this could be exactly why Wall Street has created a cryptocurrency exchange. Let's take a look at it. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion. I'm not smarter than you. You are smarter than you realize. Do not trust what I say. Do your own research. So, Binance just crossed $1 billion in cumulative profit. Here's CZ. He's one of the owners and founders of Binance. And crypto exchange Binance has just hit a massive $1 billion mark in cumulative profit. In quarter 3 of 2019 alone, the exchange made a profit of $183 million. Binance Chief Executive Officer CZ said, "We will continue to hunker down and buildle." So I think he's trying to do a play off of hodl. Keeping barriers to entry low mantra seems to have paid off well for cryptocurrency exchange Binance. The exchange has just crossed a whopping $1 billion in cumulative profit as of September 30th, 2019, according to the block's research. So this is the man who's responsible for giving Wall Street a severe migraine headache. The reason why I say that is, Wall Street does things for one reason and one reason only, and that is to make money. They're in the business. If I made cookies, I'd be in the business of making cookies. If I made shirts, I'd be in the clothing business and making shirts. If I made automobiles or pencils or eyeglasses, I would be in those businesses and I'd be an expert in those businesses. Wall Street is in the business to help people invest money and make a profit. So they are, by reputation, the greediest people in the world, but that's primarily because their product is profit. And a lot of people call profit greedy. So, but the truth is that every company in the world exists if it's making a profit, and goes out of business if it's not making a profit. And so profit is the key to any business, any organization, any corporation to continue to exist. Because if it does not, it will cease. They'll go out of existence. They'll cease to exist. Anyway, the point I'm trying to get at is Wall Street spent 400 and specifically the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange, Microsoft and Starbucks, teamed up. They spent almost $500 million, $400 million and something, almost $500 million and 4 years to develop the BAKKT exchange. And the BAKKT exchange is a cryptocurrency exchange built by Wall Street for Wall Street. And so it's primarily a business for institutional customers. Just like you can go to TD Ameritrade and buy and sell stocks that come from the New York Stock Exchange, but you'll only do that through TD Ameritrade. You're not going to be able to buy IBM stock directly from the New York Stock Exchange because you're not an institution. You have to be an institution in order to do it directly from the New York Stock Exchange. And so the BAKKT exchange works the same way. Regular retail customers are not getting access to the BAKKT exchange. You have to be a TD Ameritrade, a TradeStation, an E-Trade, a Charles Schwab, or a family office. A family office that manages $100 billion in assets, or some large amount of institutional money, in order to get access to the BAKKT exchange. And so the BAKKT exchange exists just because of all of these crypto exchanges making a huge amount of money. The greed of Wall Street said, oh my gosh, this is our business. We're an exchange business. In fact, The company that built BAKKT, the Intercontinental Exchange, is the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange, and they do $9 billion a year in revenue, and they do that through fees that are charged from buying and selling stocks, buying and selling futures contracts, etc. They have over 12 different exchanges internationally, and they have over 6 different clearing houses for futures contracts. So, the company that built BAKKT is ginormous, but they're only doing it because all of these crypto exchanges started stepping on their toes in something that they consider as, this is my industry. And to a large degree, the Intercontinental Exchange, the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange and BAKKT, it really is their industry. They are the biggest player when it comes to all of these different commodities, futures, and stock exchanges. Nobody's bigger than the Intercontinental Exchange in today's world. So that's kind of why BAKKT is a huge migraine. Binance is a huge migraine for BAKKT, is because the BAKKT exchange, while Binance is doing over $1 billion in revenue in cumulative profit since it started, and we're only talking about a company that started July 2017. I mean, it's 2 years old. 2 years and a few months, and they've already had over $1 billion in profit. Whereas BAKKT, I mean, when you look at these volumes, they sold 940 Bitcoin contracts on their futures exchange today. That is, well, let's look at, I don't know what the average price is, so we'll take a price of 7,300. So we'll take 7,300 times 940 contracts. So they only sold $6.8 million worth of cryptocurrency on their exchange, and yet Binance over here is doing $1 billion cumulative profit. They're averaging, like they said here, in the last quarter, they did $183 million in fees. Now, their fees are typically around 1%. And so for them to have generated $183 million means they did 100 times that in actual volume traded. And so BAKKT has a very, very long ways to go at this volume of 940 Bitcoins. Bitcoin contracts. I mean, they need to increase that volume ginormously just to come close to what Binance is currently doing on a daily basis. So they need to be doing closer to, $100 million, $1 billion, $500 million a day in cryptocurrencies exchanged in order to even begin to compete with Binance on cryptocurrencies. Now, just because BAKKT's volume is low today, don't write them off. They knew exactly what they're doing, and I don't know for sure. I haven't been in their boardroom, but it's my guess that this is not a surprise to them in terms of the volume, and that they have a lot of plans on how to turn this around. Some of it may just simply take more time. For example, I mentioned that you and I cannot get directly to the New York Stock Exchange and buy and sell stocks. BAKKT is, I'm sure, in the process of setting up all of these other companies from TD Ameritrade and Fidelity and TradeStation, etc., to being able to offer the BAKKT products. And I'm sure that in the near future, BAKKT is going to continue to expand the products that they offer via the BAKKT exchange. Currently they have just a few different, they've got Bitcoin monthly futures, Bitcoin daily futures, and that's it at the moment. Now they're launching some additional products in Singapore, and those should be happening in the next week or so. And then BAKKT has quite a few announcements for things that they're going to be offering beginning in January. One of those is an app that you can use to spend cryptocurrencies at retail stores such as Starbucks, or such as the thousands of companies that rely on Microsoft in order to do a lot of their different software needs, from web hosting to cloud products, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of companies that use Microsoft for doing online transactions. And those companies are very likely to be using BAKKT's products as they begin to roll them out over the coming months and years. So don't write them off yet. They are coming after CZ, and they're coming after this $1 billion in cumulative profit because they want to get as much of that pie as they possibly can. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for all of this to play out in the days and months ahead, how can I be of service to you? Do you have any questions? Is there anything I can do for you? Please leave it in the comments below. If you want to communicate with me privately, I've put a Google form down there. You can use the Google form to ask me questions or make requests in a private manner. In the meantime, I hope that you'll like, subscribe, and hodl, and have a fantastic day.